But yeah, like, because I've been talking about it a lot in the last year, I've been like the target of a lot of hate and criticism, but most of it's online, so I feel safe. Another question that I get quite often is, Sammy, how come you so freely say ceasefire, you so freely say free Palestine, but you can't say bring them home? Why can't you say bring them home and talk about the hostages more? I'm like, okay, person who's been following me for like 5 minutes. I have talked about this before, you just didn't scroll down far enough, okay? Also, if you want to talk to somebody who doesn't talk about the hostages enough, Netanyahu is that way, okay? Okay? You know, but you have chosen to take your aggression out on a comedian. You have not chosen wisely. But I'll be very clear, and I'll make the universal statement that I've made once before. I'll make it again because it still holds true. And that is that we should not even be living in a world where people are taken hostage. That should not be a thing, okay? Being a hostage is a horrible experience that no one wants to go through, okay? And I think we often forget that. And I think we often forget that when people are taken hostage, somebody is taking them hostage. So it requires a host. And it's also very stressful for the host, too. And I think that we often forget about that part, you know? This is a both sides issue, by the way. I'm not talking about one side or the other. I'm just saying, it sucks being a hostage and it sucks being a host. It's very stressful. You got to feed, take care of the hostage, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they're called hostages, because the host ages from the stress. Yeah. So that's probably not the answer you wanted, but that's why you don't talk to a comedian like that, okay? But I have no problem saying it. The situation is 360 degrees, okay? And that's why I have no problem saying bring them home. But you have to understand that when I say bring them home, I do mean all of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean all of them. Yes, the 100 or so Israeli hostages and the thousands of Palestinians being held illegally in Israeli prisons with no evidence, no trial. Thousands of them are children, aka widow-tailwiss. The widow-tailwiss, bring them home, okay? And while we're at it, those illegal settlers squatting on Palestinian land in the West Bank, let's bring them home too! Let's bring them home too! Right on back to Brooklyn, baby. Bring them home. And while we're at it, the astronauts stranded on the ISS, let's bring them home too, because it's really up that they're still there. Bring them home. I used to be a lot more careful about the things that I said. I didn't want to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I realized that we don't have time for that shit anymore, okay? There's a genocide going on. It needs to stop. And we need to speak the truth. You need to stay up to date. You need to speak the truth. You need to speak from the heart. Say respectfully before it, you'll be fine, okay? We can no longer be held back by $50 8-pack sound bites, right? Because if you can pay somebody $50 to say them, they're not worth much. When you really look into the 8-pack sound bites, you realize most of them make no sense at all. There was a sound bite floating around in the last year saying that, oh, pro-Palestine protesters, we're going to deport you. That's right. Trump's going to get to office, deport the pro-Palestine protesters. Like, most of us are citizens. You don't think we know how the law works? You can't deport citizens, bro. Especially Arabs. Like, most of us are lawyers. We know the law. You can't just deport citizens, okay? No, what you're trying to do is you're trying to intimidate us and make us feel like we're not as American as we should be just because we give a about people overseas. That's what you're trying to do. Well, I'll tell you what. I know this for a fact. I am way more American than a cheap senator who accepts bribes from a foreign nation. And while we're on that note, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsors, Russia, China, North Korea. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sweet checks. We appreciate you. Iran, we see you. Iran, we appreciate the donation of the drone shipment. We appreciate the drones. We appreciate the drone shipment. It's stationed over Jersey right now. We're about to put it into action. We appreciate you. No, really, the sound bites, they make no sense. Calling the college encampments, calling the pro-Palestine protests anti-Semitic. Get the f*** out of here. Get the f*** out of here. We're not taking that shit anymore. No. Do a little bit of light Googling, and you will see that Palestinians are Semitic. You didn't think we'd figure that shit out eventually? If you're going to use words against us, make sure we don't have access to internet, okay? We can't look it up. It's a very quick Google search. Palestinians are Semitic. If you are pro-Palestine, you are pro-Semitic. End of fucking discussion. End of fucking discussion. If you need to explain to people, it's very simple. Semitic means Semitic people. Semitic people are people who speak Semitic languages. The three main Semitic languages are Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic. So unless you know Jesus Christ directly, you've been to one of his parties in southern Lebanon, okay? Unless you know Jesus, the Semitics that you know are the Arabs and Jews in your life, okay? Yes. Check in on your Semitic friends. We're not doing too good right now. Give us a call before we become the next Saddam out there, okay? All right? Call your Semitic friends, okay? But the term Semitic is a racist term. It was coined in Germany, so you can already see where the problem started, okay? The term Semitic was coined by a German linguist so he could differentiate people of Middle Eastern origin with people of Aryan origin. It was a racist word from the start, and the term was popularized by Nazis. The term Semitic and the term anti-Semitic was popularized by Nazis. The only reason the term anti-Semitic still exists is because Nazis self-identified as anti-Semitic to make their hate sound more professional. And so it's because of Nazis that we still have that term. I'll tell you what, I will not have Nazi memorabilia wielded against me, especially when it makes no f***ing sense. Okay? Do you know how many years I just let the mind happen of calling a Semitic person anti-Semitic? Do you know what that f***ing did to me? It's like, you're gonna call a Semitic person anti-Semitic. It's like, what do I just equal to zero? Is it like matter plus antimatter? It's like calling a tomato anti-fruit. It's like, I'm fruit too, okay? Just because they put me in the salads doesn't mean I'm not down with the watermelons. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So no, I reject that term. If you want to talk about individual cases of hate and condemn hate equally, let's fucking do that. But that's not what's happening here. You have these sound bites that are designed to confuse people, and you look at them, they don't make any sense. Another refined sound bite they pass around is anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Okay? This one is mathematically invalid. It's a very quick proof. Okay? And keep in mind, I'm one of the most respectful people you'll ever meet, respectfully. Okay? I don't even call myself anti-Zionist because most people don't even know what the fuck that means. Most people have no fucking clue. Most people in this world have no fucking clue what Zionism means. I guarantee there's people in this room have no fucking clue what Zionism means. Even Zionists don't know what Zionism means. Really, ask most people who identify as Zionists. They say, why are you a Zionist? What does it mean? Most of them will say, well, it just means I believe the Jews should have a homeland and should be safe. Well, that sounds awesome. Nobody's arguing with that in theory, but that's not what it is in practice. Ask Palestinians on the ground who receive Zionism. To them, Zionism means getting evicted from your home, watching your home get bulldozed, watching your family get locked up or killed, watching your whole entire community get bombed on a daily basis. So clearly they're going to see Zionism as something different than you. And then meanwhile, you got Jamaicans out there like Zion, Zion. So nobody knows what the Zionism means. It's a meaningless term. Okay? But if we're going to go by the first definition, that it just means the Jews should have a homeland, then I'm the biggest Zionist out there. I'm Zionist number one. Don't record this. I am Zionist number one. I am the CEO of Zionism. If it's just about a Jewish homeland, okay? Because Florida is a beautiful state. And I will fight. I will fight to make it yours. It's a beautiful place. Yes, there's hurricanes. We'll build an Iron Dome. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. Okay? I'm all about Jewish safety, okay? But the moment you say things like anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, you're saying undefined word is equal to word that people don't know the meaning of, okay? You can't just do that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to say that if anybody questions Zionism, if anybody questions Israel, it makes them anti-Jewish. Here's the problem with that logic. It's that most of Zionists in this world, and I mean like 90% of Zionists in this world, are not even Jewish. 90% of Zionists in this world are Christian evangelicals. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Hallelujah! Yeah. Yes, and it doesn't matter what your race, your religion, your background is. If you know about the evangelicals, you got to admit, those crazy, okay? They are some of the craziest on this planet. If you don't know about the evangelicals, let me tell you about these little angels, okay? The evangelicals, bless their heart, okay? They are Zionists. They are pro-Israel. Why? Is it for Jewish safety? No. Is it for human rights? No. No, the evangelicals specifically want Israel to be locked into place in the Holy Land and be big and strong as ever, specifically to fulfill a biblical prophecy in the scripture so that Jesus can come back sooner, bring judgment day, and do what? Rain eternal fire on all of us. What the What the actual What the evangelical is that? Who put these people in charge of anything? I would not let them drive my Uber. You understand me? But yet they have so much power in our government. They have a lot of power in our society. They have this massive, insane plan. Because it doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Jewish, or regular Christian. They think you're going to die on Judgment Day. They think you're all going to burn and they're going to be spared for some reason. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking, okay? But it's weird. They think everyone else is going to die, and that includes Israelis. This is the craziest part to me. Israelis are not even spared in this equation. I tell Israelis, I'm like, hey, you know about this, right? They're like, yeah, it's a little weird. We tune it out. What the How do you know about this too? I'm offended for you. That is so sick and twisted to want Israelis to be in the Holy Land, specifically to be the sacrificial lamb in the greatest end times Ponzi scheme of all time. You know what that is? That is anti-Semitic. That is the most anti-Semitic I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's real anti-Semitism because it affects Arabs and Jews equally. Meanwhile, Palestinians out here getting called anti-Semitic. We are not anti-Semitic because we don't want Jesus to come back. Frankly, we find that terrifying. We don't want Jesus to come back. And if he came back, he just loses home. He's Palestinian. We don't want this happening to another person. We don't want Jesus to come back, okay? We are pro-Semitic. If anything, we want Moses to come back. That's right. We want Moses to come back because Moses got the Israelites to move. Can we just get Moses to the West Bank like right now? Part the Atlantic Ocean.